Let's get into it. Sorry I hit your computer there. I got the wife with me,
Hello.
Of course. I'm slapping her computer around. We're talking about, well, we got Joe Rogan and Brian Simpson talking about, what was his name? Michael C. Rupert?
Yes.
And goes by another name, the Truth Tracker. He was a gentleman that uncovered the CIA involved in, as he says, some dealings. we'll say that, some dealings. But he was the first person to bring this to light, and there is actual video of him confronting the current, not current now, but like at the time, the director of the CIA, actually bringing him this information in front of everybody, and it was being filmed. I believe CNN was actually covering this.
Interesting.
Back when CNN actually used to care about news. Yeah. Wild time. I know. Back in the day, it was a wild time. Let's get to the clip, guys. Don't forget about IamCoachColin.com. We got Sold Not For Sale, Public Enemy #1, and we got The Great Resist. Check it on out. Discount code is IamCoachColin, all capital letters, all one word, 1 L in the name Colin. Let's get into it.
And then, but at the same time, the DEA was arresting drug traffickers.
Right. How come? What is that? Jamie Chuckman in the mix?
I think the cocaine was how the CIA was paying for certain stuff because it was money they didn't have to be in the federal budget. You know what I mean?
Well, that's definitely the case with Oliver North.
Right.
That was the case in with Freeway Ricky Ross in Compton, in South Central LA, and we found out about it because of this guy Michael Rupert, who was on the podcast back in the day. Michael Rupert was in that documentary Collapse. You ever see that documentary?
Mm-mm.
It's a documentary about the collapse of peak oil and societal collapse because we're so dependent upon fossil fuels. It turned out to not be correct, but what he was predicting. But what he was right about was how dependent we are on fossil fuels. And he was detailing the supply chain. So he's sitting there. The whole documentary is him sitting there in this room on a folding chair just smoking cigarettes and just telling you why all these things are a problem because they're all connected. And it's a very compelling documentary. Well, Michael Rupert was a narcotics officer in L.A., and he caught the CIA selling drugs in South Central L.A. and then exposed it on a hearing on CNN at like this big like town hearing. You ever seen this?
Mm-mm.
Jamie pulled up. It's wild. He was a really interesting guy. Last time I saw him, he gave me mushrooms.
How did they catch him? How did he catch the CIA?
Well, he was a narcotics officer, so he was arresting people for selling drugs. Here, play this.
I am a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, and I work South Central Los Angeles, and I will tell you, Director Deutsch, emphatically and
Can
without
you speak
equivocation.
further into the mic, sir? These mics don't seem to be...
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
All right, obviously that is an answer for a lot of you. Now, can you please?
I refer...
All right, now, can you please?
I refer direct...
Wait a minute.
So that guy at the table is from the CIA.
Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. If you don't like what's going on here, please leave now. No, leave. No, leave now, because there are others who do want to hear what's going on in this room. Will you please take your seats? I will come back to you as we roll back across to the center section.
Director Deutsch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. I have been trying to get this out for 18 years, and I have the evidence. My question for you is very specific, sir. If, in the course of the IG's investigations and Fred Hitz's work, you come across evidence of severely criminal activity, and it's classified, will you use that classification to hide the criminal activity, or will you tell the American people the truth?
All right, you want to hear the response first from Congressman Julian Dixon and then from the director?
The director of the CIA.
Wait a minute. From your, I'm sorry, sir. I will allow the director to speak first and then Congressman Julian Dixon.
if you have information about CIA illegal activity in drugs, you should immediately bring that information to wherever you want, but let me suggest 3 places. The Los Angeles Police Department.
Please.
Wow, now you're playing in my face.
Sorry, others want to hear this answer. I am sorry, others want to hear this answer.
It is your choice, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Inspector General, or office of one of your Congress persons from this.
18 years ago, sir, and I got shot at for it.
Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, sir.
And?
Sir, you have not gotten the mic yet. You are not. But wait a minute, then don't speak out of turn.
Let me say something else. If this information turns up wrongdoing, we will bring the people to justice and make them accountable.
All right,
Just imagine you think there's even a possibility that's true. But you say, if it's true,
Well,
if it's true, I've heard rumblings.
right. Well, just imagine, hey, bring it to one of the offices where we have people that work for us.
Yeah, they'll definitely take care of it appropriately.
Right.
Bring
I'm
it to the
surprised
LA
they let
Police
him
Department.
live.
Yeah, he was worried about it too.
Well, they know that if they kill you, it makes what you said seem true. If they let you live, they can always accuse you of being crazy.
He wound up taking his own life.
Where?
Yeah. His health was failing him, getting older. And it's just like that life is the life of exposing extreme corruption all the time and being right about it is very scary. It's a horrible life.
You gotta be willing to kill a motherfucker.
Yeah, it's just a horrible life. And to go from being a guy who's a narcotics officer in LA and discovers that and just gets dragged down this rabbit hole. Just see the movie Collapse, though. It's pretty interesting. See if you've got a trailer.
Yeah, it's like no CIA agent has gone to prison for cocaine trafficking,
Weird.
and that's how it gets here.
Weird.
That's crazy.
Weird. Yeah, Freeway Ricky Ross. He's been on the podcast a couple times too, and he's the guy who was selling it in South Central Los Angeles. He didn't even know what he was a part of. That he was
For what
funding.
may be
This is
the
it.
greatest preventable Holocaust in the history of planet Earth. I have 30 years of experience as an investigative journalist. I've broken major scandals, going out to try and map how the world really worked as opposed to the way we were told it worked. Our map has proven deadly accurate. Economic predictions, we had it so right. In 2006, we said, get out of debt right now. Check your mortgage carefully. We issued a whole series of warnings.
It will be nothing like we have ever seen before.
Everything that we said was going to happen is taking place right now. Gold prices, Pakistan, Afghanistan, the stock market. It's not that Bernie Madoff was a pyramid scheme. The whole economy is a pyramid scheme. Of course I've been called a conspiracy theorist, but I don't deal in conspiracy theory, I deal in conspiracy fact. The mortal blow to human industrialized civilization will happen when oil prices spike and nobody can afford to buy that oil, and everything will just shut down. Unlike the Great Depression, we do not have infinite resources. Nothing grows forever. There is a cycle: birth, growth, maturation, decline, and death. Cars don't run. The mail stops getting delivered. Planes don't fly. Law enforcement stops working. This is all part of the collapse. If you're in a camp and a bear attacks, you don't have to be faster than the bear. You only have to be faster than the slowest camper. The challenge being faced by the human race now is either evolve or perish, grow up or die. You have to believe, not hope, not pray that there's a way out of it, and you're going to find it.
He's basically a prepper. He was. He's basically telling you, start growing your own food. Get something that you can treat water with.
Oh yeah.
'Cause this is a fragile society we live in. That's completely depending on us sucking blood out of the earth to pump everything. That's what we're doing. We're sucking the blood of the earth that we use to make plastic and jet fuel, silicon. I mean, think about all the different plastic parts that are just in electronics. It's oil.
You know, it's part of the reason why we couldn't really, like, why the sanctions on Russia didn't really stick. Like
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to unpack there.
Yeah, right? Especially with that trailer at the end. The number one thing that I dislike about what just happened is that at the end of that trailer, with everything that you know Michael C. Rupert was about, everything that he said in that video, everything he said in the trailer, at the end of it, Joe calls him a prepper. Like, what?
Yeah, that's true.
So he was a prepper. No, he was a journalist. He was an investigative journalist. He
Yep.
was a narcotics officer who turned investigative journalist who was trying to uncover something and let the public know about it. So to actually call him a prepper at the end. And then also the whole term of prepper. Because am I going to be seen as a prepper? I want to, I have water filters for us where I like to filter out everything, Like I want to get to the point where you have a big freezer. I want to get to the point where we can hunt. I want to get to the point of self-sufficiency. That's not a prepper. That's a person. That's how a person's actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like like I went to school for supply chain management. Supply chain management, there's a thing called the just-in-time system that Honda used, and that's how Honda like got back on the map. It's like a thing that they did. They had this just-in-time system, and it was perfect because it kept them very liquid in money and all this stuff. So people aren't supposed to do that. People aren't supposed to be just in time. They're not supposed to use that system where they have just enough until they run out and then they go get more. And that's not how people are supposed to function. So people are supposed to have stocks of things. They need stocks of things in case anything happens, because it's not a car manufacturing factory.
Yeah.
And
it's also not just for money, it's for our lives.
Yes, that's the thing. It's your life is at stake.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to have a bunch of things, So it's just odd to even hear the term prepper. It's like you're supposed to be prepared, Mm-hmm. I don't get it. But that trailer, that was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot.
And, he passed away. When did he pass away? From, his own doing, of course.
I can't remember the exact year. I want to say like in the 2010s.
Yeah. So today, his trailer, that little movie, makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Like maybe back then, it's like Joe's like, oh, and he was kind of wrong about a lot of these things. It's like, okay, maybe he's just off on the dates.
He also predicted the 2008 financial crisis 3 years before it actually happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why like the trailer was saying like profit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he actually predicted things.
True. Wow. See, little things like this. Like, is Joe in the CIA? Did he get touched? Did somebody come and say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? You okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, who are you? And he's like, I like your show. Do you like your show? You like doing it? You want to keep doing it? Something happened. It's very, very odd to talk about a man like this who is clearly very knowledgeable, clearly very brave, and to just leave it at like he's a prepper.
Yeah.
Very
and
interesting.
From what I can see of his life as well, like he lived with a lot of integrity. Like he joined the LAPD in 1973 in narcotics, and he went to a lot of very dangerous neighborhoods in LA. So he saw a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he made discoveries that led him to believe that he had stumbled upon quite a large network of traffickers, and that the U.S. military as well as the LAPD might have been involved. So 2 years after he made those discoveries, he resigned from the force.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so he was only with the LAPD for like 5 years.
Wow, and then he figured it out.
And he was like, no, this is crazy.
Wow.
So he left.
You're right. He does look like your dad.
Yeah, he does. if this guy had more like beard.
Yeah, if he shaved.
It's my dad.
Yeah. They look like they'd be friends. They're wearing the same stuff.
Yeah. They'd like tip their hats to each other.
That's so wild. Yeah, he had a nickname. Look at that. That's his nickname there. If you can see it on the screen, Tracker of Truth. That was his nickname. Wow. Even in his description, I don't want to bring up too much because then it brings up like yeah. But yeah, investigative journalist, publisher, talk show host, LAPD.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff.
Like prepper. Like why would you say prepper at the end?
Yeah, with all the things that he's done. Yeah.
Absolute hero. To do that in front of so many people, to do it so publicly, to put yourself on the line like that, absolutely incredible.
That was actually a town hall meeting that was held at a high school in South Central LA called Locke High School.
Whoa. What year was that?
That was in 1996.
1996.
Yeah.
You know what? I gotta commend the director of the CIA for actually going to a place like that.
Yeah.
Like, think about that now. Where do you see directors communicating with public whatsoever?
Not at all. Especially like at a high school.
Yeah, giving the public access to you to
Yeah.
ask you questions.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of wild.
When I looked up the director, his name is John M. Deutsch.
Oh, this guy here, yeah.
Yeah. He's actually a pretty respectable guy as well. Like, nothing, usually I can see red flags in people's bios and things like that.
Yeah, their histories. And
Yeah,
whatnot.
but he had a pretty clean record, and again, kind of a guy who lived with a lot of integrity. And it actually said in his like Wikipedia that he took the unusual step of traveling to Locke High School to address reports that the CIA had facilitated substances
Wow.
into
Really?
LA. So it was called unusual right away.
So he was addressing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's that is very interesting.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with that, you know, because I mean, even when you break down like Freeway Ricky Ross and his whole involvement and who he was connected with, unknowingly connected to the intelligence agencies and everything, it is possible for this guy to be the director and have a bunch of guys below him that are just
For
wild.
sure. Absolutely.
That are just wild doing stuff and he has no idea.
Yeah.
Like that is a thing that could happen. Like if you have a dirty cop, right? Like right now there's a cop wherever you are. There's some cop somewhere taking a bribe.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
He's shaking down somebody, he's taking some money, and he doesn't go to the commissioner and say, "Here's $10, 10% of what I took today."
The commissioner could be a good guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like they'll have no idea. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just one guy and sometimes it's a team of guys, and you know, it varies. And sometimes in some cases it's a whole department. That does happen as well.
Yeah.
But it is possible for one guy to be good, you know?
Another interesting thing about this director guy was that he was put appointed as director of the CIA by Bill Clinton.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and he actually fell out of favor with the Clinton administration because of a testimony he gave to Congress on Iraq.
Oh, wow.
So he told Congress that Saddam Hussein was stronger than he had been earlier.
Who did?
The
Deutsch?
CIA director, that's what he testified.
He said he was stronger.
Saddam Hussein is too strong and that the CIA might never be able to remedy the issue.
Oh.
And then once Clinton won re-election, he got rid of this guy. So he was only in office for I think less than a year and a half
Oh, wow.
as director of the CIA because he
That's
was
wild.
too honest. They didn't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they got rid of him.
Bill didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
Or Hillary, given how things have played out. You
Yeah.
know, who knows who was pulling the strings back
Yeah.
then.
But then this guy too, as soon as he was kind of ousted, it was revealed that on his laptop computers, there were some misclassified documents.
This guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was very classified information, but it was not.
And he had it?
Yeah.
And he wasn't supposed to?
I don't think it was that he wasn't supposed to. It was just that it was wrongly classified.
Oh.
So it was more secretive than it was labeled.
Oh, okay.
So because of that, there was a whole bunch of allegations and things, and he was being charged. And he actually said that he would plead guilty to a misdemeanor.
Whoa.
And then right before he was about to be charged, Clinton pardoned him in his last day in office.
Oh, wow.
That's why I like this guy. He seems like
Yeah, he seems nice.
a nice an actually nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you getting wrapped up with the Clintons.
Yeah.
Bill's like, you're too honest, man.
Yeah, he probably wanted nothing to do
What
with
else are you going to be honest about?
him. Yeah, because it makes Clinton look bad.
Can I come on your plane, Bill? No, that's my friend's plane, and you can't be a part of what we're doing, okay? We got to go. We got to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's
Are you-
that guy.
Are you bringing him? Are you bringing him, Bill? No, Jeff. Jeff, we are not bringing that gentleman onto this
Yeah,
plane.
he's
Let's
too
go.
honest.
Let's get going, Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
before Hillary finds me.
Oh my gosh.
I love Bill Clinton impressions because you can just get him saying the wildest things, and it's all potentially true.
That's true.
It's all potentially
A wild
true.
guy.
Oh, he's a wild boy playing the saxophone. Can you just imagine him out there on those islands just playing the saxophone? just in a
You think he
Speedo.
brought it with him?
Just in a Speedo.
Or the blue dress?
He probably had his own there. It's probably just there.
Yeah, true.
Where's my saxophone, Jeff? I got some margaritas in me. He just starts playing the saxophone. Oh, just serenading all the senators, you know. I picture a fun time.
That's a
out
lot of
there.
stuff.
Yeah, they're having a blast, I'm sure. You know, they're saying some kind of list is going to be released. I don't believe it, but
Yeah, they've been saying that for years.
I think that's just a distraction of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, not real. What else you got?
Well, the whole reason that this high school meeting happened was because a journalist by the name of Gary Webb published in the Mercury News in 1996 a series called The Dark Alliance.
This is Gary, right?
Yeah, that's Gary Webb there. So he had actually gone down to Nicaragua, which is where they were alleging all of these substances were coming from.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if this guy, you probably don't know her. She's actually somebody I want to interview one time. I definitely would want you there if I interviewed her. Her name's Whitney Webb. I wonder if she's related to this guy.
I don't know.
Because he would be around the age.
Of like her dad or something?
Yeah, definitely. Huh. I wonder.
Yeah.
And she's like very investigative, like very much. Yeah. Huh. I gotta check that out. Let me know if you know in the comments. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
So there was a Nicaraguan group called the Contras.
You don't want to say that word wrong, eh? You can stumble over that word.
Nicaraguan?
Yeah. You don't want to mess that one up.
Hard C.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So these Contras were basically pro-democracy, so they wanted to oust the current government there.
Yeah.
So of course we've heard of the CIA kind of supporting groups like that in the past.
Yeah. Tim Kennedy himself said that the Green Berets could flip a government if they want to. They could infiltrate, switch out presidents, and do it all without anybody knowing.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So the Contras were accused of using profits from illegal substances to finance their fight against the government.
Wow.
So for the CIA to be backing the Contras, knowing that, it wasn't a hard leap to say that the CIA was financing the substances.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from.
Some wild guys in there, man.
Yeah.
I wonder, you know, like, whatever that is, whoever the head of that, like, I wonder who that person is, who those guys are, you know, because they're crazy. What a wild life that would be. Like, let's just, you know, let's make it a movie script, you know what I mean? Like, just imagine somebody's in that position and they're doing things like that and they're making money that way. Like, how crazy would that be? How crazy would you be?
That is crazy.
You'd be nuts. And you know, on a similar topic, I think you even heard this because I listened to so much stuff. Tucker Carlson was talking about, because Tucker Carlson, if you don't know, he grew up around CIA operatives and agents and all sorts of people just on his street. His dad was associated, all sorts of stuff. He even actually wanted to apply to the CIA. And he did, and he says that he got denied. Or maybe they gave him a different role.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Maybe they gave him a different role.
Yeah, denied.
But,
okay.
Yeah. They were like, come to the media branch of the... But he actually talks about how he's witnessed his own dad like getting like a bag of money or having to pay somebody in all this like cash who was a part of the CIA for like houses and stuff. And Tucker Carlson alludes to it all the time. He's like, how do these guys who are, you know, just public officials or government officials, how do they have all this money? How do they have
just
all
pay
this
for
cash?
cash for like $1 million houses.
Yeah, cash. Just like briefcases.
Yeah.
Like wild. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people gravitate towards yes, of course, but in actuality, it's who knows. Because once you get into that point of things, it's like, what are they doing for financial gain? What are they doing to gain a foothold into that part of the world, to be trusted? What if they're doing something that's helping towards a certain objective? Like, it gets so blurry once you get into like James Bond type territory.
Yeah.
Where you're just doing everything for a reason, you know. You're too young. You never seen the movie Donnie Brasco, right?
No.
Donnie Brasco is this guy based on a true story. Donnie Brasco is this agent who was trying to infiltrate the mob, right? And he like started low level. He was just like, you know, a regular agent just trying to infiltrate. And he got to the point where he was like up high, to the point where they would try and rein him in. He'd be like, screw you guys. Like he was
crazy.
like, he was just mob. He just became a mafia member. Like it was crazy. And it had to get to a point. It got to, well, within the movie, it gets to a certain point where he's right alongside this wild hitman who is played by Al Pacino. And that's the way they pull him out. They like had to like kind of ambush him and pull him out and be like, you're done. Like, stop. Like, what are you doing? Like, he hadn't been home in weeks. Like, he was just fully in, he just became it.
Wow.
100%. There's even a scene where he sees one of his fellow agents and they don't know that he's undercover. So they're about to say like, hey, and right away the guy, Donnie Brasco just, I think he like punches the guy. And then he goes, this guy tried to grab my ball. Like he just says some like wild like mob stuff, like Tony Soprano stuff, but just like knocks the guy out. And the guy's like, what the heck? Like it's such a crazy movie. Such a crazy movie. I've watched that movie like 20 times.
Wow.
So wild. But it gets like that, I would imagine. You know? It gets to the point where you really believe that you're like the number one podcast in the world, and you know you're just doing Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu and you're just talking with David Goggins and you're like, yeah, I'm a UFC commentator. And can you imagine? Joe, we need you back at the headquarters. I'm busy, I got a thing to do, I just signed this contract with Spotify.
Oh my gosh.
Could you
They're
imagine?
trying to reel him back in.
Yeah, right. He's just like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. He just hires all this security. I'm never going back. I'm kidding. That'd be a cool movie.
That would be cool.
It's just movie scripts, guys, not reality. So what else?
Yeah, so I was talking about the whole reason why they believed the CIA was involved with this. So a couple guys that were very high players in this issue there was 2 drug smugglers from Nicaragua
Yeah.
who were involved with this Contra group that was bankrolled by the CIA. And they provided supplies to Freeway Ricky Ross in LA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why he's
That's
involved. I was
how.
asking you about him because I know you mentioned him before.
Oh, so yeah, because the story with Freeway Ricky Ross is that he was this big time dealer and it got just so massive and no one understood how it was so massive.
That's why.
That's why. And also it had this lore to it because he would dress like everybody was, you know, every lower class guy was like big chains and all this stuff. And he would dress like he was a bum. He would just have this big scruffy beard and just like ratty pants and like just be walking around the neighborhood. And he liked being like that so he could still like be around the people.
Yeah.
So nobody knew who he was. Nobody like fully knew who he was. So he had this really crazy lore to him. And then finally he started realizing like, oh, I'm kind of being allowed to get this big.
Yes.
Like he didn't realize. He was like, I'm like, they're allowing me to get this big.
Yeah.
Like they know what I'm doing. And he was like, why would they allow me? And then he started connecting the dots and was like, oh, he's like, this goes way deeper than just me making some money.
Yeah.
And by some money, it was like millions of dollars. It was a crazy amount of money he made. And that again brings me to Joe. Imagine Joe Rogan is that. They're just letting him get this big.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know. Wow. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's what I am. Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Won't have to worry about rent for a while. But yeah. That's Freeway Ricky Ross. Very interesting guy. Very interesting guy. And again, like I told you before with Freeway Ricky Ross, went to jail, didn't even know how to read, learned how to read, started learning law, and then realized what they charged him with. They did it in a bad way. It was like double jeopardy on something that wasn't double jeopardy or something like that. I don't know. But he got himself out.
Interesting. Good for
Learned
him.
to read in jail and got himself out.
Wow.
Wild.
The biggest part of the story between Gary Webb, who's the original investigative journalist on this, and Mike Rupert, is that they both passed away in the same way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
geez. Mike Rupert
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a way to say this
He
without using the word. He took his own.
Yeah. He passed away from his own doings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With one big bang.
Yeah, with the pew-pews.
Yeah, with one pew. And then Gary Webb was the exact same situation, but 2.
Wow. So
2 big bangs.
That's crazy.
Which, how do you do that?
Yeah.
To the head.
Yeah, exactly. How do you do that? That's why another thing when Joe said how the gentleman passed, it's like you should know better than, like, you know what I mean? Like, he makes so many jokes about the Clintons and everything, you know, and for you to, and those are just jokes, you know, that's going along with like a lot of what the internet has to say and blah blah blah. But then, you know, this guy is basically an American hero, and you don't even take stock of like what could have possibly happened.
Yeah.
You
don't even question it.
Yeah, you don't even question it. Like, his literal quote was, you know, his health was bad, and, you know, it's just down that road, that rabbit hole. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Especially now that when you're learning about his life and you're seeing the integrity in the guy, it's like,
yeah,
I don't think that's how he would do it. But whatever.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was that...
but that's another thing. If you just never know, it's like you should at least bring that up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with the conversation that they're having. I don't know. But yeah, sorry.
He also brought up 3 different operation names when he was confronting the CIA director.
Yeah.
Can I say the names?
Well, I was going to pull one up here.
Okay, perfect. So this is the only one. They're all still classified.
Yeah.
So there's not really a lot of information on them. They're not freely available. This is the only one that I could find something on, and it's on like Wiki Spooks, the website.
Yeah.
So it's not super legit. But basically, so Operation Watchtower is one of them. And it was 3 towers that would go up from Colombia all the way to Panama. That would be kind of an electronic beacon tower.
Okay.
And they would communicate with planes to let them know when there was safe passage. So that these supplies could be run up to the States.
Wow.
So that was that operation.
Again, imagine that's true. I would love to know the story of the guy that was like, we're doing this, guys.
Yeah.
I would love to know it. Like, a movie on that guy would just be like, whew, mind blowing. You wouldn't know whether to cheer for him or to hate him or anything.
Yeah, right?
Right?
Like an anti-hero.
Right? Like, just did something so big, because we love people who do things that are just so big and bold. Right? Like, people love it. They love seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then, like, what it did to the world.
Yeah, and America in particular.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah. So what else?
That's about it.
Wild. So what do you think, all in all, after doing your research on this stuff, hearing what I said about Freeway, Ricky Ross, and whatnot?
I think at the very least, the CIA was involved with this Contra group.
Yeah.
And I believe that the Contras were...
involved in that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even if the CIA didn't directly...
I like how we talk like we're in the mafia.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know. I just stop like at some words.
This is how I used to talk when I was a teenager. This is how I would always talk. Yeah, the thing. Yeah, I got the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought the thing, and the guy has it. Yeah, he does have it. Don't worry about it. The other thing, not that thing. That's how I always used to talk. I love it.
Yeah, I think at the very least, the CIA kind of knew what was going on and was complicit.
Well, the thing is, not even in an evil way, but their job is to know things.
Yes.
That's what they do.
Especially for like groups that they're involved with.
Well, just that, and also they have people inserted at every level of governments, anything that they're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
They will place people. They will convert people. It's their specialty. They know how to do it. So I think at a certain point, when it comes to things like this, you know, like you just said, with everything that they possibly knew, I think certain things, when you have a certain objective, you have to let certain things slide. Like in Donnie Brasco, when he would see people get iced And he couldn't be like, oh, I'm going to report this. He couldn't do that. He would have to be like, okay, that happened. I'll just mark that down. Or he would know it's about to happen. He can't stop it. He can't be like, now I'm an FBI agent. He can't do all that. He has to just let it happen because he knows what his actual objective is. And he has to sit by and watch, and he had to actually help. And there's nothing you could do about that. When you know that your objective is one thing, like, what can you do?
Yeah.
You can't just pull yourself out because, like, oh, but this guy did this. They'll be like, you just ruined the whole mission. Right?
True.
So it's, I don't know, kind of makes sense. This type of stuff just happens, and it's happened before, and it's probably happening now. You know, because if you have one mission, like, I don't know, I'm kind of like that. Like, if it's someone's birthday right now, I'm like, the videos. The videos have to happen. Sorry. I'll message them. But the videos have to happen. They do.
One mission.
They do. I was even on one video. I was like, happy birthday, Mom. I was like, all right, let's get to it. Like, yeah. When you have one mission, you got to kind of focus. You got to get zoned in. What else?
That's it.
All right. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about this whole thing. From Joe Rogan's take on it, all the way down to the information that we let you guys know about. And anyways, like, subscribe. It all helps so much. And share. Please share it. It helps tremendously. You have no idea. And other than that, we are out.
Bye.